Morning, folks. How are you doing? It is a real nice morning. It is raining out there and having a nice cup of kava. It feels good. It feels nice. It feels legit. So, starting morning with this nice kava and some nice rain in front of me, it really feels good. So my dear friends, in today's video I want to share something with you guys which really helped me to become a nice photographer, and that is something which I learned through the process of street photography. Although I'm not saying that this video is particularly for street photographers, what I am saying is that this very aspect of photography is something that you should possess if you really want to capture some nice frames. And I would say that this one aspect is much more than composition. It is much more than the gear you possess, and even it is much more than what kind of photography you do. It is something beyond all those things. It is the basic essence of what photography as an art form means, and that basic idea is to actually be observant and look for some perfect moments to capture, some really beautiful moments to capture, some really surreal moments to capture. It actually depends on you, what you are looking for. And now you might be thinking that this is a very cliche idea that I'm sharing, and I'm just making a bunch of words and just pumping a little bit energy into it. But no guys, as a photographer I have seen that in today's generation what photographers are basically focusing on is that they should have some real nice gear, or perhaps they should have some real nice composition knowledge, or maybe they should be looking how to edit their pictures to look much more appealing. But from my personal experience, I just want to say that it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. It really doesn't matter what kind of editing skills you have or what kind of composition you are putting into your photographs, until and unless you have actually seen a really nice moment to capture, which is telling a really good story or just depicting some real good scenic beauty. And for that guys, you really need to build one precise muscle, and that precise muscle is to have a really nice observing eye all the time, because at any moment, at any place, you can get some really nice beautiful moment or some really nice scenic landscape beauty that you need to capture. And if you're not observant of that moment, you won't be able to capture it. And that is the basic essence of photography. Because let me share some personal stories with you guys. Okay, so the very first one is when I was coming back from Delhi to Jammu in order to come back to home, and we stopped at this one restaurant in Punjab, and behind that restaurant I went for toilet, and just nearby there was this huge field of paddy. It was lush green, and behind that it was completely surrounded. The whole village of Hoshiarpur was completely surrounded with mist, and it was looking so nice, and the paddy was so vibrantly green, and that whole landscape just really appealed to me. And I thought, well, this should be captured in a panoramic form. And just because my eye was so observant at that moment that it would really look beautiful in a panoramic shot, and at that moment I just took out my cell phone, or not my cell phone but my smartphone, and just captured that whole panorama. So my point being made here is that, look, I didn't have my mirrorless camera in my hand, but I had an observing eye at that moment, and during that moment I captured that moment firstly through my eye, and then secondly I thought, okay, I need to preserve this moment in some digital format, so why not just take out my phone and just capture it. a lot of people go out at certain point of time with their cameras and then look for those moments. But honestly, it is not always the case that nature would provide you with some nice beautiful landscapes or some nice beautiful moments when you really want it, because the second story is something very similar to that point and very much resonating to that point. Because you know, 2 days ago when I was running through Preetnagar, and there is this huge gurdwara, and you know, the moment was really nice because there was this sense of dual tone in the sky. Even when I saw that moment, I was like, wow, one, this majestic architecture architecture of gurdwara is so beautiful, and above that, those two areas, one at which place through the clouds the sun was beaming some golden rays, and on the other side there was this blue sky, so a proper color contrast. So this brings my point back to the observing eye. See, if you have an observing eye, only then you can look for some color contrast, some nice composition, because see, there was color contrast there, and along with that there were some leading lines of the Nishan Sahib that were bringing a really nice, appealing look to that landscape shot. And I was like, wow, this shot really looks surreal. And then after that, my point comes that if you really have an observing eye, because when I took out my phone and I was about to click that picture, I was like, well, maybe not from a standard lens, but from a wide lens, these leading lines, this huge sublime sky would look much more appealing. So instead of using the normal lens of that iPhone, I use that wide lens. So this is how you develop skills of photography. This is how you use composition, those gears that you have with you, and each and everything to the right precise use in photography, only when you have an observing eye. Because when you have an observing eye, you actually look towards that frame and think in your mind, okay, in what way I want to capture this moment, and then you think for composition, then you think for the required gear, and then finally you can capture a nice beautiful shot. So what I'm trying to say that if you are getting some real nice perfect shots, you don't need a lot of editing and post processing. So the best thing to do is keep your observing eye open and look for those shots. That's all for today, my dear friends. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, because of that you would be helping and supporting this channel. And for more photography related content and for some street photography sessions which will be coming very soon, hit the subscribe button, smash the bell icon in order to get notified when those videos will come out. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, enjoy, have fun, and peace.